Hi, it's Victor Sinclair. Welcome to the webinar. We're just going to wait a couple more minutes while a few more people are entering the room. Feel free if you want to ask any questions at the end.
Hey everybody, thanks for coming. This is David McGinnis. I am the one in charge of putting together a lot of video content as well as doing some technical work with the BSC projects. We're just waiting to get the main host back in the room. We're using a new platform and it seems it accidentally got closed. So we'll just be one moment while we wait for other people to join the webinar as well. Also, as Victor was saying, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the chat. We'll try to address any questions that there might be, whether they're technical or about pricing or what we offer in some of the products that we're here to talk about today, and some of the strategies that you can use to increase your enrollment and engage your students through the different packages that we offer. We're glad to have you, and we'll begin very shortly. Just to reiterate, as I just seen a few more people join, we're just waiting for our main host to come back into the room. They seem to have dropped out temporarily, and we're waiting for a few more people that we know are on their way to get into the room, but we should be starting in just a few minutes. And if you have any questions, you can add them to the chat, and we'll do our best to answer them during the course of the short presentation. And we're really glad to have you joining in. Hello there, and thank you for joining. Just seen a few more people join in. Just to reiterate, we're just waiting for our main presenter to come back in. I'm David McGinnis. I'm going to be running things in the background as well as I work on some of the video production and work within VSC International. Victor should be along shortly. They just had a computer reboot that needs to be done. We'll be starting in a few minutes as a few people are also still waiting to come in. Sorry about the delay, and we're really glad to have those of you who have joined. Thank you, folks who just joined the room. You'll notice there's a chat window there that you can use to enter any questions that you want to have answered during the course of the presentation. Our main presenter just had to do a bit of a computer reboot. We apologize for the delay on that. It is allowing some time for some of you that are obviously arriving just a little late, and that's okay. We'll be starting in just a few short minutes as soon as they have their signed back into the room. And we thank you for joining us. Thank you for those of you who have shown up today for the webinar. Had we anticipated that we would be waiting for everything to get signed back in, we probably would have given you some nice music to listen to in the beginning. The main presenter should be along very shortly. I just got confirmation from them that they're getting things signed back in. It's a new platform that we're using, so something went wrong on their end. I'll be doing the technical side of things behind the scenes here for everyone while we go through this presentation to show you some of the things that we have available. Thank you for those of you who've joined. We really hope to be able to work with you in the future, and we appreciate your patience while we get Victor back online. Welcome back, Victor.
Thank you, David. I apologize for the delay. It's amazing what happens when technology puts you into purgatory. But welcome to the internet generation. So thank you for your patience. For those of you who are still there, my name is Victor Sinclair. I'm the VP of VSE International, and we are a value-based marketing agency for private schools. With me today is David McGinnis. He's doing the operating and the controls. You've probably already met him. So here are your takeaways for today. We're going to talk about smartphones, the benefits and the challenges, 5 ways they've changed the world, how they've changed us, in particular 6 implications for your school and students. We're also going to talk about the uses and benefits of videos. I mean, after all, we have videos, we've got to use them. 16 applications of videos, channels of videos, 13 topics for videos, 1 way to use videos in the business cycle, and 10 more benefits of video. The VSCI solutions, 3 options that you have when you want to get into videos for your school, and then a simple, cost-effective solution for increasing engagement, enrollment, and your school brand. So one of the things, hopefully you'll stay to the end. This is about a 45-minute presentation, and then Q&A at the end. You'll see on the screen in front of you a recent study by IBM, which in fact is the decline of the human attention span from 2012 to 2016. We've gone down 4 seconds, and now we're losing the race against the goldfish. I know all you guys are educators, so you have a great attention span, and we'll see you at the end, I'm sure. So a little bit about me. I've been involved in education for quite a number of years. I taught at a private career college called Trebas, and also at a community college in London, Ontario called Fanshawe. I love education. Both my daughters are teachers for grade 2. And I'm here to support education in any way and shape I can. So I've studied radio and broadcasting for nearly over 2 decades, and that's where I really got my chops as far as marketing and marketing research goes. I worked with some of North America's biggest research companies that do CNN, WABC, and a whole lot more, including MS Strategic Forecast, Joint Communications, people like John Pericle, Dave Charles, Jeff Bidler, and J. Robert Wood. Today, I look to the same caliber of individuals, but they're all e-marketers and digital marketers for some of the leading companies, including Ryan Dyes, a digital marketer, and you can see the whole slew there, not to mention thought leadership from people like Seth Godin and Guy Kawasaki. For many years, I ran the American Chamber of Commerce in Canada. So for any of you in the States, I'm what's considered a semi-authority on cross-border business between Canada and the United States. I've worked with U.S. ambassadors. You'll see Paul Salucci and David Wilkins down there, as well as many Fortune 500 CEOs. You'll see Ross Subramaniam, president of FedEx, and the moderator head of the table was Adam Howard, who's the president of JP Morgan. In this presentation, I will talk a fair bit about the 80-20 rule, also called Pareto's Law. Pareto was an Italian philosopher in the late 1800s, 1900s early, and he discovered that 20% of the people in Italy owned 80% of the land. He was like a Da Vinci, so he was a farmer and a school teacher and a businessman as well. So he looked at his pea crops, and 20% of his pea crop yield 80% of his harvest. And then he looked at the people in Italy again, and indeed 20% of the people in Italy had 80% of the wealth. Now, when you take that 20%, you can 80-20 the 20%, and you get 5% of the whole. If you 80-20 the 5%, guess what, folks? You get the 1%, which you've heard a lot of lately in the U.S. election. And indeed, it controls a good 70 to 80%, 75% of the rest of the wealth. So a little anecdote about the 80-20 rule, real life situation that applies to digital media. One of my board members, I worked with several different boards at the American Chamber of Commerce at the Ontario level, was Mike Donahue, who was the president of Allstate Insurance. And I incessantly went on about the 80-20 rule. So I said, Vic, will you please come into to our executive suites and give a day lecture on the benefits of the 80-20 rule? In which case I said to Mike, I'd be happy to. So we went in there and started off with the 80-20 rule and talked about 20% of the stores making 80% of the revenue and how much of their marketing went to the 20% of the stores that made 80% of the revenue. We finished with our Google approach and found that indeed the question was, what are your search terms and how are people finding you? Indeed, when you typed out Allstate Insurance in Google, they would come up number 1. However, if you went to Google Analytics, you found out that 57% of the people were actually breaking Allstate into 2 words, like an Allstate American, and in that case, they weren't on the first page. Desjardins, TD, and State Farm were number 1, 2, and 7. And for their own term, they weren't there, which means as a totally 100% branded company, they were spending millions of dollars on ad campaigns that did not have the phone number and or web address. So the conversion was supposed to take place in Google, and unfortunately, nobody goes to page 2, so they were losing a lot of business as a result of that. So a little bit about VSCI International. We're a full-service digital marketing agency, and we do everything from pay-per-click to build websites to social media posting and whatever you need. Right now, we're specializing in video because we have to for our clients, because we increase our results no matter what our client is. So now video is at the center of everything we do. We work as a value-based marketing for the private school sector. So we're looking to work with schools that are value-based. I believe that value-based schools have a better proposition to entice students and increase their enrollment. So we're going to look at the benefits and problems and the issues of technology and education. 5 ways that smartphones and or Android and tablets are and have changed the world. The first one is just looking at the cell phone and understanding that this little gizmo, 6 inches by 2 inches, has the technology power to actually run a satellite. That's exactly how much power it has. If you look at what it's replaced from the point of view of technology, picture's worth 1,000 words, everything from Rolodexes to flashlights to stopwatches and video cameras. And it takes a whole lot of pictures to cover what a cell phone could do today. Little anecdotal fun here, 38% of consumers never leave their smartphones. Some people sleep with them. 2-year-olds can master a smartphone. 6.8 billion people on the planet, and 5.1 billion of them have a smartphone. And now 67% of people are using smartphones just to pass the time of day. Right at the core of this is Google. They call it the mobile moment. Google considers itself a mobile first company, and they are definitely pushing the use of mobile and video as fast as they can. 3 biggest trends of smartphones, some of which you can probably gather: human interaction, consuming information, and actually increasing our decision-making ability faster and faster. Not necessarily better and better. Students, as far as mobile phone goes and the smartphone, usage still covers social networking, music, social media, and almost 90% of the population are expected. Through years, the bane of every parent is, when do you give your kid a smartphone? 6 implications of smartphones for your school. Curriculum will incorporate smartphones and videos. Information is now ubiquitous to the roles, and the role of schools need to change. The effect of smartphones and the attention span, smartphones connecting the world, and smartphones and the law of displacement in Fund 6.1 as well. So first one, the picture's again worth 1,000 words. Books, Time magazine, and newspapers are getting displaced. If you think of the law of displacement, the more people spend on mobile phones, the less time they're doing everything else. So the reality is more times on video and less time reading. Pictures very evident here. Some schools are embracing smartphones in their curriculum. Others are banning it. It'll be interesting to see how it works out. But the barrier of entry to learning is not always in the teacher's lap at this point. If the geography teacher wants to know what the capital of France is, the students can find out faster than the questions even asked. So it does beg the question of where the quality and the content of education is going to go, certainly in values and making decisions for students to be able to make on their own. And as we mentioned earlier, the decline of the human attention span is going to affect everything in education. So now that we're down to 8 seconds, it's going to affect your curriculum. But more importantly, the consumer who's going to come to your website and not necessarily read as much. If you have international students, the thing to realize that many of you have used agents in the past, and not that agents will not work in the future, but certainly for the students who are making more and more of their own decision, they're also making more and more of their own marketing research. So they're often skipping the agents and the pamphlets at trade shows to use their smartphone and go right to the web to find out everything about your school and the Facebook page. And at this point, if you have video, it will stand your school well. Rethink your website is one of the fallouts of the mobile phone generation. The time spent on sites, all sites, is declining. Time spent on page is declining. Traffic to websites is declining. Websites without an aggressive content strategy will fall behind. Video for websites, as Google indexes them. Social media content feeds should also be part of the plan, and all parts of your website needs to be mobile friendly. Video consumption is growing exponentially. People rather watch what they could read, and consumers are now lazy watchers. And of course, everybody, if they've been in a park lately, knows that this little creature called Pokemon, again driven by smartphones, is yet another way we can see how these little gadgets have changed our lives. The video imperative, 3 things you need to know about video and digital marketing. First of all, is that YouTube and Facebook is now at 13 billion daily views. Facebook has now overtaken YouTube as far as the #1 place for video consumption, and smartphones are driving video consumption way up. And one of the reasons why Facebook is doing this is their video feed. Any of you who have smartphones and do a lot of Facebook surfing will realize that they have a very, very intelligently targeted feed to you that gives you one video after the other. So if you're a cat fan or a dog fan, you know that you get your fair share of those. But on the other hand, if you're a 2016 election aficionado, depending your party and depending what you're following, you'll get those and virtually anything else that you like, whether it's music and or education. It will feed you videos of your choosing and your preference, so much so that we're getting a lot of binge watching when it comes to videos. Commercials and other elements come right up in the feed. So there's your stat. Twice as many people are now using Facebook as they did 6 months ago for videos. So that's tremendous. That's not 2 years. That's not 5 years. That's how fast this is changing. That's why we're doing the webinar, because you need to be on board or you'll be behind. 90% of all internet traffic is now dominated by video. And again, it's the way that consumers are starting to digest information, including the marketing of your school. Benefits of video are quite many. I'll just go over 3. #1, it increases your brand awareness by 170%. It increases your brand favorability, which is preference, by 500%. And consumers are more likely to buy your school. And the stats across the board are 270% on that. So in all things, video converts. However, because video converts, the competition for video space and advertising and content on the net will be harder as more and more multinationals get on board. And by 2019, they're predicting quite a few $1 billion of advertising. And we're talking the big companies from Lowe's to Home Depot to the car manufacturers, et cetera, et cetera. However, it's still possible to get your school online because of the niche preferences you can do. However, a big element is get there sooner than later, because both Google and Facebook give credit for longevity. In other words, how long you've been an advertiser, how long you've been on the internet. How and where you can use videos. We're going to look at some application channels, many different topics you can choose for videos, times, variations, cycles, and benefits. So the first one being applications that you can use, everything from email campaigns to your blog, partner blogs, press releases, social media, of course. Use the preference that works for your school the most. If you're a career college, LinkedIn will work. If you're a girls' school, Pinterest will work. And if you're just the general public, you got to go with the quantity of the quality of social media, which is Facebook. Its numbers are still ginormous. One of those applications very clearly is you can use videos in your emails. The conversion for opening of the emails is 96% higher click-through when there's a video included. So the benefits everywhere you go when it comes to video, it's there. Channels for you to include, everything from multiple pages on your website, marketing campaign, landing pages, outbound email, social media channels, YouTube, you can have your own channel, and many schools do, and your own dedicated video resource hub. 13 times blank for video topics, and the blank really stands for variations. So school story is an obvious one, but if you look at school values, you can multiply school values for everything from integrity to resiliency to fortitude to honesty as being a topic of every video, if that was one of the themes you wanted to do a campaign on. School facilities, unique selling proposition, events, testimonials from the students, staff messages, head of school messages, curriculum, school objectives, staff expertise and training, key profiles, programs, summer camp, branding, another one that could be done in 10 different ways. So there's multiple choices and varieties for video, but you need to have some sort of a strategy to put it all together. And here's a look at a video cycle, product cycle, and this would be for products from schools to something that you would get at Lowe's. It starts off with awareness, engagement, and moves through subscriptions, conversions, excitement, ascending, advocacy, and where you get the top promotions. Probably two of the best companies would be Starbucks and Apple, where their customers do a lot of promoting for them. Word of mouth value is tremendous, and when it comes out on the internet with sharing videos, it is exponential. 10 benefits of video for marketing your school. Video helps to bolster the decline of web traffic. Video helps your website in ranking because Google likes video. Video is tremendously helpful with SEO. So if you have a video listed on a particular topic, you can actually come out ahead from your competitors simply because a video listing will be in the SEO findings as well. Video helps all your social media performance, more likes, more followers. Video tells your story in the way that words and pictures can't. Video can be created for each part of the customer service journey that we just saw. Video can boost your online advertising costs and effectiveness and your ROI. Video helps free publicity. Video gets 10 times the shares and content, and video actually is your best return on investment when you go head-to-head with pay-per-click and other options. And here's another stat that's quite good. Video increases sales from 20% to 40%. Customers are more than 80% more likely to buy after watching your product, and that converts to a parent choosing your school as well. Videos help you with leads, prospects, and students. Now the question is, if you're the school, how are you going to go about making schools? There's really kind of three different options. Should we try to do it ourselves or enlist a production company? So the challenge is being with a production company, they're a little bit expensive. If you're a large enough school to have a videographer on staff, their wages are in the $70,000 plus, and you need a fair bit of dollars invested in equipment and know-how. And even when you do all that, that doesn't necessarily give you a content strategy of what to do with all the videos. When outsourcing, if you hire a videographer to do a school profile, I know a number of people or a number of friends of mine that run video companies, and they charge anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 to do a 5-minute video. And quite often they go out of date within 12 to 15 months. Not that they're not good, and they're certainly perfect for parental conversion on those big ticket items, but they don't give you the quantity that you're going to need on a repetitive basis, and you can't watch these videos on Facebook over and over again. It just won't happen. So our solution is something called vid clips, and a vid clip is really just a short, concise video from 25 to 45, 50 seconds. And it's a simple, cost-effective solution that comes right up the middle. Each video is made to do two things. Number one, grab the viewer's attention. And number two, to make a single point across, not to make 25 points, which is one of the weaknesses I see in multiple videos from schools or any other business, which is they try to capture everything. And unfortunately, the consumer's already thumbed the video and gone on to the next one because they haven't kept their attention. So that was a look at the Thompson Institute. Now these are some videos that we prepared, and they're actually ones we've done for other clients, and we've done a mock version for today's presentation that covers the same issues. That one was for a PSW school, and it's really the visual gives you the attention grabber, and the purpose of that video was for branding and continuity. So having said that, you can use these type of videos for camp, graduation, sports, used with a narration donut, which means you can use a voice narration to do different things with the same video and multi-purpose it several times.
Hey, Victor, you want to repeat that last little bit there? Yeah, I think the thing was still playing while you were talking.
Okay, sure. So the last video we just did with the Thompson Institute was for a personal care worker school. Now, this is a mock video that we've done that's actually for one of our clients, but we've changed it because we keep our clients always in confidence. But we did it for today's presentation to illustrate the same purpose and the content of the video. Number one is, how does it get your attention? In this case, visual effects with a virtual storyboard that you can change the pictures up, which each variation of the video you use. The purpose of this one was to create a warm sense of inviting college and sense of community that, again, only pictures can do, and you can use it multiple occasions for camp, graduations, school, sports, and again, you can use it with different what's called donuts to talk about the next event, so you can use the commercial in many different facets, for example, an open house. So there was a video that, again, from the first point of view, the first point, what we try to do is get your attention. And of course, it's been proven for literally decades that a mascot and or some form of animal or bird, like Tony the Tiger for Esso and the Tiger in Kellogg's Frosted Flakes, have done for years, and this one gets your attention. The second point, of course, is that it is really pushing an established school for individual learning that many got dropped through the formal education system for whatever issue they had with their learning abilities. So it does that very well, and of course it uses a bit of humor on top of that to be effective and efficient with its time. So what we're proposing, or what we're offering today, is essentially a year's worth of vid clips. Now, we do our program with no risk to you, so it's a try it before you buy it. So essentially your first video is free, and you get to try it out. Keep the video at no risk to you. If you like it, keep on going. If you don't, that's fine. You've got a video and you're good to go. And 11 more, one for each month, so that you have a full inventory of 12 videos throughout the year. The bonus that comes with it is a 2-hour consulting editorial calendar from myself to work at that video plan. You saw you had 36 different options for video content, and you wanted to make some sort of sense so that it hits your school calendar along with your editorial calendar. We'll also throw in as a bonus 1 2 to 3 minute profile of your school which is another $4,000 value to be able to use on your website or however else you want to help tell the story. And the videos, all videos include professional announcers, music production, graphics videos. In the future, it'll also feature storyboard, copywriting, post-production, repurposable video content. The whole package, really moderately priced, would be worth well over $16,000. Today, we're offering it to you for $5,489, and if you pay in full, you save another $550. This offer is going to be good till August 31st, midnight, because that's when we're doing our cutoff, because we have to make the videos for September. And indeed, we're only taking on a few clients, so I hope you make it in the window. Just to let you know, some of our clients have already asked us for a marketing plan for the digital strategy. So once you're past that page, you will have another offering, which is a school digital marketing roundup package. It's an 8-week consulting package, which gives you a full digital media plan. In week 1, we look at a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, unique selling proposition, everything from values to goals. Week 2, we drill down on the unique selling proposition and look at how we convert that into the digital media. Week 3, we move on to our next subject, which is strategies, and we look at select target market segments, personas, review of online presence, website, mobile. Week 4, we look at tactics. Week 5, we drill down on social media, how we do engagements, which ones you're using. Week 6, we look at enrollment, and week 7, execution. We put it all together in the 8-week package. Week 8, the same thing applies to this program as week 1 is free. There's absolutely no risk to you. If you like the way we're going and building the strategy, you continue on. If not, we will hopefully have some good inputs, at least with some directions on the first week. So that's really it. I believe you will see the actual offer page on your screen right now. We will entertain a few minutes for questions and answers. And certainly, if you have any questions, fill them out on the chat. And I will also answer a few questions that were already filled out on the survey form when people registered. And I'll do a couple of those first. Number 1 was from Andrea. She asked about conversions for video. Are they better, and how do they compare to the rest of digital media advertising? Andrea, the simple answer is the conversions are way up. The cost per thousand is cheaper. Your click-through rates are cheaper, and your shares are higher. So everywhere along, you're going to get a better return on investment when it comes to your video option. And more importantly, you're going to get more leads because people will watch them to the end in the call to action. And there's at least 4 different ways you can go from the video to your call to action. Fran is asking about video for not-for-profits. How do you develop a good strategy for fundraising? And indeed, video can be very, very good, so that again, emotion drives sales and donations. So if you can tell your story why, and the why is the big one for donations, then video is actually the best resource you can use for any type of, let's say, capital fundraising that you're doing for your school. You have to figure out what you're building. Is it a sports complex? You need field, a field, football field, soccer field for the kids, and what the benefits are. And then, of course, if you can involve kids in telling the story, you're now twice as close to your fundraising objectives as you were when you just put out a little note on email saying, please send us money. John's asking about return on investment. Again, it's a very smart question. Return on investment really looks at 2 parts. So number 1, you can certainly measure the effectiveness of video if you're just going to use it for advertising. You can certainly look at it from the effectiveness of how you share videos, how you get engagement, how you increase your social media properties. But one of the things I would look at with social media and or video investment is really it's an investment in your capital assets. Quite a number of years ago, large accounting firms like Deloitte and Touche started to audit your digital presence and equate that as part of your assets when it comes to your evaluation. So if you put two schools head to head and one school has a lot of equity in their digital brand and their digital marketing and their digital videos and their Facebook likes and their Twitter followers, it is going to be anywhere from 20 to 30% higher than the exact same head-to-head school that does not have a good social presence or media. Why? Because the school next door can't build it in a day. You just can't build a social media presence and snap your fingers and voila, it happens. Social media engagement and customer loyalty are all things that take time to build trust. And if you don't have that investment over a period of time, and certainly 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, many of my clients have been in schooling since the 1980s and or older, the reality is that you still want to maintain that conversion of trust so that when you have parents that have multiple siblings, you keep top of mind, because if you don't, your competing school will. And last question from, excuse me, a new one from the feed is from Ryan, and he's asking about the differences when you have a video and how you can use it in Facebook, which is also a good question. So part one is simple advertising. So a video can be used just like a graphic can be used for digital marketing and repurposing of ads and remarketing. So can a video be used in the news feed. So you can still pay on a basis of how many people are watching it and clicking through. It can also be used in promotion and quote unquote publicity. When you post it on your Facebook page, it goes out there in the news feed, and whatever views you get at that point is absolutely free. When you use it with Twitter, any click-throughs is absolutely free. And that would be the case with a fair bit of the social media. The only thing I would caution you on that front is, well, that's automatically a good thing to do because it is a free investment of your capital assets. Facebook is also creating a playing field that's a pay-to-play situation. Years ago, when you had 1,000 likes on Facebook, it wasn't unheard of to get 200, 300, 400 shares with or views with that video. Now they've turned off the tap, and sometimes you may only get 27 views, 17 views, 143 views. It's a mere fraction of the people you get to like. So they're basically saying, hey, if you want to reach 2 or 3 or 4 or 5,000, then please put in your nickel. Having said that, it's still one of the most affordable ways of advertising. A Facebook, if you're just going to do a page boost, may only cost you $7, $14, $24, and you're out to 3,000 or 4,000 people. That may, in fact, if you have a good page of likes, which means it's not bot likes from a click farm, and comes from your students and your students' peers and your students' parents, they actually go out to 2 degrees of the separation, and that's why it's to die for, as far as I'm concerned. And again, very effective branding of your school. So that's really it for today's presentation. If you have any questions, you can certainly follow up with us. I think our emails and links are noted pretty much everywhere, and you can certainly find us on the website as well. We only have a few spots left over, so please do click through and follow the link, and hopefully we can get you in before we cap off our limit for our September campaign. Thank you very much for listening, and thank you very much, David McGinnis, for your help and steering and your help in regards to the technical difficulties we had at the beginning. Have a great day. Continue your joyous careers and professions in education. It's second to none except for parenting, I believe. and the world needs more value-based education, that's for sure. Have a great day.